A few weeks ago, we announced the acquisition of the Total Coal South Africa. We see a lot of value in that because in our portfolio you add 4.1 million tons of allocation at Richards Bay. When the rail is at 91 million tons capacity, Exxaro will be probably the fourth largest exporter in South Africa on the coal side, and as a result we will really be doing close to 12 billion tons. It then balances your business between your exposure on Eskom as well as on the export side.
The coal prices in dollar terms over the last 2 years came down by 31%. If we talk rand terms, and what we realized in rand terms, quite a significant different story, and we only lost 7% over the last 2 years in rand terms on the coal price. The performance of TFR, in the first half last year, it was at 76 million tons annualized. It went down to 68 million tons in the last half last year, and only on 61 million tons for the 6 months. So a decrease that took place, but despite that, a very nice increase in Exxaro tons on exports, and the question is why. Firstly, you would see that we have received in the first half of 2013 52 trains at Grootegeluk. That increased by 15% to the second half last year, where we received 60, and now with a very nice 44% to this half, where we received 86 trains during this half. These are obviously very important numbers to understand where we will be going in the next half and the next few years. With the current performance and continuing with a good performance on TFR sides to Grootegeluk, I think we're comfortable to stretch Nkulisi a bit further and give you a guidance of around 5 million tons. There's a push now to get the tons out on the good performance of TFR.
On the coal side, we will continue to consolidate our business within Eskom. Over 90% of our business today is geared towards Eskom. When it comes to growth, the board made an approval of 3.8 billion rand for the commencement of the Belfast project. Construction is planned for 2015, and this is exciting because we will produce about 3 million tons of run-of-mine, out of which we will get about 2.2 million tons of A-grade export steam coal and 500,000 tons of power station coal. At Grootegeluk, things are starting to roll. This year, it's been really great because for the first time they started taking coal, so it means that things are happening at Medupi. And that is going to continue, so that's the good news. And of course, when it comes to optimization, we continue looking at ways of ensuring that that project remains more robust and profitable. The total capital spend that we're still looking at is still 10.2 billion. We have teamed up with power producers so that we could develop Thabametsi North. A lot of work has gone in there, and we will produce some coal. Completion of Thabametsi North Phase 1 will happen by the second quarter of this year, and we will commence then supplying coal there, and that power station will start operating, we hope, if we get everything in place, by 2019. On Maramba South in Australia, good hard coking coal. Anglo and ourselves are pushing on that one, but when the time is right, the two parties will decide on when to develop that project. It's one of the last big hard coking coal assets around the world.
We would have delivered 6.2 million tons to Medupi, or GMEP, to Medupi. The latest settlement is now only for 3.1 million tons. For the few years ahead of us, we will therefore take a take-or-pay from Eskom on 15.5 million tons. It is calculated based on our fixed costs plus a profit margin. That's the number that we will receive. We will therefore receive a shortfall payment to the value of 1.5 billion. We will take the margin on the existing 3.1 million tons. Needless to say, ladies and gents, if you only ramp up 3.1 million tonnes of the 12, 15 million tonnes in future, that margin will not be high for the first year. But once you go into those numbers of 9 million, etc., going forward, then obviously we will go to the appropriate levels. A great settlement for Exxaro, but also a good settlement for Eskom and for the country, something that makes sense to all the parties as a result of the lateness of the Medupi power station.